Building downtown.
Hey, listen to Building Downtown. Don't forget to follow us on social media at The Building DT. You can follow and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm your host, Jason Kelly. You can follow me at JKellyMMA. You can follow my co-host, Kirill Kasatskiy, at Apostle Raps. You can follow my other co-host, Amy Barton, at Ames Bell. Continuing once again with the KOTD Grand Prix shit, we got a special motherfucker in the house tonight. He's becoming a breakout star more than some of the battlers in this damn tournament. If you've been following Byron for a long time, you know him. If you just started following it, the GP, or just recently, you might think he doesn't work for KOTD or something like that. I can tell you one thing, though. He gives the best you heard since Master P. He is the host with the most. I need to be on my game tonight because he's giving me a run for my money. The Ock Baby. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing especially well since you learned how to pronounce my name. I heard Amy.
I had to practice that. You know, it's that
I made it so
baby,
easy for y'all. I could have put my whole name in, and y'all would have had to use your Middle Eastern accent. Y'all would have had to use your disaster voice to pronounce my whole name.
I can't with you. Well, look, you're not gonna get an intro like that anywhere else. Just so we're clear.
That was a beautiful intro. You are clearly a professional.
A Lush One intro, though, that's a nice one. That's a Lush One intro is always a good one. I don't know if anyone can top a Lush intro, but you've seriously been holding down this hosting part of it. Obviously, being such a fan of battle rap for so long, I'm familiar with you. But you've been out of the scene for a minute, right? And D-Rec brings you, gives you the opportunity to come in here, and you fucking ran with it. What's it like getting all this attention from this? Is it nice to be back in the scene, to be appreciated again?
First and foremost, let's get these things. Let's set some things straight. Let's get the chop in this fable. D-Rec didn't bring me in. All right, he didn't bring me in.
Okay.
He hit me up. He's like, "Yo, we doing this." Me and D-Rec talk like every day, every other day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of my closest friends since for going on 15, 20 years now. So I hit him up and I was like, "Yo, what's good?" He's like, "Yo, I'm doing this King of the Dot, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I might come up there and help you out with that." This is what I said to him because I knew what type of undertaking it was once he explained to me how the event was going and all that. I said, "I'll come up there and help you out with that, and I'll say battle it to my left or some shit for you." And he was like, "Cool." So when I got up there, we went to the little the face off or whatever. I'm talking to Avo or whatever, catching up with him and his crew, and it was like, "Yo, we need somebody to host the stream." And I said, "No, under no certain circumstances will I ever host a stream." And it was like, "Nah, man, we really think you'd be good at it." And I was like, "Nah, who wants to sit there and listen to me talk for an hour? You basically just asking people to hate me." You know what I'm saying? That's what all I could envision was like, get this guy off the screen. Why didn't we see him? They was gonna be clowning on my beard and all that.
And how wrong you were.
How wrong I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the hell they like about me just going on incessantly, but apparently they appreciate it. So if they like it, I love it. So here I am.
So
Yeah,
what's with the beard love?
What's with the beard love?
Dude, like there are so many people that are like, "Oh yeah, axe dope or whatever," but like I see so many comments about your beard, and I'm just like, do people pay that much attention?
I couldn't tell you. It stands out. That's why I did it. Also, I was quite bored during quarantine. I might be the only American that stayed indoors. But for some reason it's resonating with them. You know what I'm saying? I think it's 2020 though. It's like one of those things. Anything goes. Guys can be girls. Girls can be guys. Beards can be different colors. It's like,
good.
You do what you want to do in this world. And that's one of the reasons. What I just said was one of the reasons I was scared to host, because I was like, yo, they got rules on what you can say and all that. I might fuck around and say some ignorant shit, and then we all kicked off the Twitch. You know what I mean?
So wait. Other than the Twitch guidelines, which we've all heard about ad nauseum at this point, was there any like direction or guidance or rules that were given to you by anybody other than Twitch?
See, I'm glad you asked that, Amy, because that's also what I wanted to touch on. The main reason why I kept saying I don't work for King of the Dot, the reason why that kept coming out, is because before I went on, they was like, "Yo, like, first of all, I was like, yo, what you want me to talk about in between? It was like, just talk about, like the battles, And I'm like, they're watching the battles. What do they need me to talk about the battles for? You know what I'm saying? So they was like, all right, I'll give my judgment on what I thought happened. Because, I got some unique insight. I've been doing this for a nice little minute. And it was like, nah, don't really, like, tell them what you think about the battles because, you're not the judge. We got judges for that, so on and so forth. So that amongst a few other things, like, that went well. That amongst a few other things, I was just kind of like, do they really want me to say this on camera? Am I allowed to say this? So it was like, it's like when you're freestyling, the more you're loose, the more you're confident, the easier it gets. It's the same thing when I'm talking. The looser I am, the more entertaining I can be. But when I'm steady thinking about what I can't say or what I might say, then the worse it's going to get. So instead of stumbling in my words, I was just like, you know what? I don't work for fucking King of the Dot. So I'm going to say what the fuck I want to say. And it just kept coming out that way. Every time I felt like uneasy, like, am I supposed to say this? I was like, fuck it, I'm going to say it anyway.
So they didn't give you like a list of words, they didn't give you instructions, they just threw you on camera and be like, fuck it, go.
Basically, they threw me on camera. Actually, Avo was like, do you want me to, like, you want to go over some stuff? And I just looked at him like, go over what? And he's like, you know what? You're good. We'll just wing it. And I was like, all right, bet. And they turned the camera on and I just started talking.
There's got to be at least a list of words, though, I would assume. You know what I mean? Like, we're going big time. We're going big time here. You know what I mean?
The only thing it says, I can't say Eminem's favorite word. And I can't say...
you mean Diz, but okay.
They're the same person. I hear Eminem ghostwrite most of Diz's stuff now, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And then you can't say the hard ER on the old N-word Diz. So that's the only thing I heard. Other than that, they basically said I say what I want.
And you can see too where you're so relaxed and you work so well in that position. You had Ice-T sitting beside you. I don't know if you know Ice-T. I could be completely wrong, but from what I understand, you don't. You're not boys with Detective Finn Tutuola. So fucking he comes and sits beside you, and you're talking to him the same way you talk to Direct, right? Who you've known forever. Like that's nice, and like the way you're keeping an eye on the chat as well as talking to Ice-T, so you could bring the fans and stuff. That's like natural fucking talent right there. So where you're saying that you were concerned about things, you might say the wrong thing, and also surprised that you're getting the feedback. I can tell you that's why right there. So like this hosting shit, hosting of any sort. Have you ever done any sort of hosting before? Hosting battles, hosting events, hosting any sort of fucking event?
And do you work for the Dot yet?
You know what's funny? I'm trying to get a contract now, so we'll see. We'll see what happens if something pops before Sunday. But I've never hosted anything actually. I think I hosted one event like on the same type of basis. I did an open mic out here in Orlando, and the host couldn't make it or the host couldn't do it, so it was like, yo, you host. It was the same type of shit. Like it was just like, yo, you do it, and I was like, all right, bet I'll do it. And then it was the same kind of reaction. I mean, it was fun, but I never saw it as a true skill. I respect, like, I don't know, the hosts out there who, like Jim Lampley, I guess. But that's like, you're calling a fight. Like, you're actually, like, going blow by blow. You got to, like, add in the commercials. It's all skill to it. It's a real skill to it. This, like, I'm literally just say, go, and I just start saying shit. So, I don't know. I guess to me, to y'all, it looks like I'm in front of millions of people. To me, I'm just sitting in front of a computer. So all I really see is me and some words on the screen, which, you know what I mean, doesn't really get my adrenaline pumping. So it doesn't seem like a difficult job, but I guess there's something to be said about charisma. That's what Lush One tried to tell me. Because Lush One was like, yo, I got the same issue as you. I don't really know. I'm just up there being myself. And he's like, but there's something to be said for charisma. So shout out to Lush One, because that helped me understand a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you probably heard this already if you've been listening to the shows, but one of the things said to Direct, but I was like, yo, like, we love Ak or whatever hosting, But honestly, like, and maybe I'm in the minority, I liked the very first iteration. Like, I liked the day that you were thrown into it and you were like, what the fuck? And I like the rest of it too. But like, you're also like sitting here kind of being like, I don't know that first day and the words and what can I say? And I don't know what I was doing and I didn't want to do it. But like, that's what I liked about it. Honestly, that like you were both that way and so chill that you could carry it, even literally improvising. Like, that was my favorite of your appearances.
Well, that's funny because that's the only one I have no real idea what happened because nobody was recording. Of course, everything is live. There's no watch back. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't really see what y'all were saying. So I was literally dumbfounded. Like what was all these comments and all these tweets that I'm getting? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did I do? That's what I kept asking. But nobody I knew personally could really tell me. So the first
so you got
time,
to rewatch.
I appreciate y'all.
So you got to rewatch
No,
the shit 7 days later? Is that what you're saying?
Nah, I never got to rewatch it at all. So I never saw the first pay-per-view, the first stream. But since then,
you need to talk to King Fly because there are people who can rewatch this shit. Apparently,
we've been putting money up. They don't want to give it out, man.
I think I got to write that into my contract. Is what it is.
Yeah, and green M&Ms.
I prefer the blue ones. No argument. But yeah, like, so I didn't really get it. And then the second time around, like, so I wrote, it's new for him too, right? So he wanted to try something different. So he was like, yo, everybody's talking about the streams taking too long. So we want to do less talking and more this, that, and the third. And then the stream went down, and then we had interviews. We didn't even know that was happening until a couple of days before. So, because we all just winging it. So we just, and when I was in Detroit, I had Quest McCody as a host, and I had Lush when I was in Jersey. So it was kind of different than the Atlanta one. So probably the feel was a little different too.
And did you know? Do you have a relationship with Quest? Or did you have a relationship with Quest or Lush leading up to that of any sort? Like, you know what I mean? Me, Colonel and Amy, we're co-hosts, right? Yeah, that's what I figured. Right. What about Quest? I mean, he's been around for a hot fucking minute. It's not like he's a newcomer or anything, but have you ever crossed paths with him or had interactions with him, or was it like learning on the fly?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have had interactions with him. In battle rap, you know, mostly.
Not good ones?
When you out there, yeah. But what happened was, so, long story short, I was supposed to battle his boy.
Which one?
His name? Look, I done beat him in a battle and forgot his damn name. Damn, what's Mo Dirty?
Great
That's
disrespect.
I was supposed to battle Mo Dirty.
Okay.
So he put out like a call out on YouTube and was like, anybody in Florida that wants to battle. So I did like a wrestling promo, and I cut like a wrestling promo on him. And then, like, we set up the battle for Grizzlemania and all that shit.
Wait, can we see this somewhere? Like, is this on YouTube or something?
Yeah, it's still on YouTube.
Okay, you're going to need to link me later. Okay, all right.
No doubt, I got you. So then we battled in Miami, and I mentioned the fact that Quest was always with him. Quest was down there with him. So I beat Mo Dirty in a battle. I mentioned the name Proof. I didn't say nothing disrespectful. God bless the dead and all, but I mentioned the name Proof to make a point. And then I guess one of their boys wanted to fight me, so it was a little bit of...
Dude, that's exactly right. That's why. You can't... Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so then, that's funny enough, what I said in the bars is, I was like, every time someone mentions Proof, y'all get all upset, but I don't never see none of y'all throw any punches, right? So that was basically the meaning behind the bar and shit. And then his boy started barking. It wasn't even Mo Dirty or Quest. It was just the boy on the side. So that was a little moment, but we got over it. Then I thought Quest and Marv had an issue with me. And then we saw each other out in Toronto. And it turns out it was all love. And what's funny is I've been a fan of them guys since, you know, like everybody else at WRCs and shit. So it was one of my favorite groups. I remember I was rooting on them against the Stories and Ilmac and shit. So, yeah. It always runs pretty deep. It's always like 7 degrees of separation in this motherfucker when it comes to battle rap.
Yeah, no shit. It's such a tight niche community where, like, even like on the outside of it.
Atlanta, I feel like Detroit is a lot like Atlanta when you're talking specific cities and not just regions. Like, if you're gonna be like Proof, like, what do you think is gonna happen?
Yeah, but you know, I don't work for King of the Dot, so I say what the fuck I want. So that was as true
We
back
gotta
then
take
as it
time
is.
to delineate, right? I gotta delineate.
You gotta delineate which was the right word, right? People gotta get past the first meaning of the word. When you look up a word, it usually has 2 or 3 different uses of it. You gotta delve a little deeper.
I love what you
But yeah.
posted. You posted in Talkback like the day or two after that battle. You know, like the South, the first event you hosted. You know, thanks to King of the
Yeah.
Dot, blah 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 blah. And you said whatever, and then near the end you said some shit like shout out to me for using delineate in the right way.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the chat they'll chew you up. You say some wrong shit. I slipped and forgot. So I slipped and forgot somebody's name and shit, right? And they was killing me on the chat. But just so happened right then and there, I guess it was King Fly, right? Made it so that you had to subscribe to make a comment. That shit saved my life because they was about to eat me up for that shit.
King Fly saves the day.
What are you like now that you're in that seat or have been? Are you a guy that's like, fuck the comments, I don't give a shit? Are you like, hey, it's constructive criticism. Now that I'm doing this, I love the feedback so I can do things differently. Like, how do you respond to people commenting on your being there and your work?
It was overwhelming. So like, okay, if you want to go back to when I first, like when I put battles on YouTube, it was you get upset. Like it's almost like I've heard Disaster say this. I actually watched a video of myself interviewing Disaster years ago on King of the Dot Talkback. It's crazy. But he put it best. When you first see it, it's almost like you don't know how to take it, so you think the person's talking to you. You see what I'm saying? And like you almost get upset as if like if I saw this person right now, I'll punch him in the face. But then you learn how to like be immune to it. And then at a certain point it just becomes like nothing. Like they might as well not even be talking about me. So after all these years, to have all these comments and all this positivity, all this love, it's almost overwhelming. Like, you know what I mean? I remember one time where I was on the chat, I was trying to read out like what they were saying so I could have something to talk about. And they said so many positive things that I started asking them to roast me because I was saying out loud as I was reading. I just kept saying, "Yo, Ak is doing great. Ak is the greatest host. Ak is this." I was like, "Yo, I'm saying too many positive things about myself. Like, I'm just sitting here." So, I guess for me, from my perspective, I appreciate it, and I don't want it to stop, obviously. But it is a bit overwhelming when I don't really feel like I'm doing anything. It's almost like if you spent your whole career rapping and doing all this other kind of shit, and then you, I don't know, fucking blow a whistle, and people are like, "God damn, you blow that whistle well." It's like, I done mastered the violin my whole life. You know what I mean? I've been playing piano and shit, and you excited about this whistle? But I will say this: when I sat down to watch Lush and what they did out on the West Coast and get to be from the fans' perspective again, I started to see, okay, this is maybe why they appreciate it. Lush did an interview with The Source and Disaster that I thought was phenomenal on some real professional. I could see this in the documentary. I could see this on ESPN kind of shit. Like he really, like the questions he asked them really penetrated to what I wanted to hear as a fan. You know what I'm saying? So I started seeing like maybe that's what they're fucking with, or maybe not. Maybe they just like the beard and shit.
So, wait a minute. Let me back up a moment here. Given that like this is a bright shining star in this year of fuckery and COVID and quarantine and caffeine and all these other things happening, right? Does all of this happening and doing moderately well have you itching at all to battle again, or are you just like, nah, I'm dope with the hosting?
Well, you know, Director's my boy, so the first thing he did was call me up. So that conversation I told you about, it wasn't just like, yo, I'm doing the King of the Dot. He was like, yo, would you want to be in it? And I was like, I said to him, man, get the opportunity to somebody that's been in it and working hard. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to make my debut again and just take a spot from somebody. And then he was like, fuck that shit, get in this. And I was like, oh, okay. So there's shout out to Young Gaddis, a friend of mine. She just came back too. And me and her had a discussion about this. When you first start battling, you have that itch at all times. Every time you go to an event and you see someone choke, or you see someone with bars that get it. Well, at least for me, this is how it used to be for me back in the day too. I would be like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna do, and then I would hear the first person rapping, and I'd be like, yo, I'm better than this motherfucker. So if y'all like that shit, y'all gonna love my shit. That's how I used to feel. So sometimes I'll go to the event and I'll get that feeling sometimes. But then at the same time, it's been so long that you start to see like what people will accept is different, and the styles that people write is different. And of course, I'm supremely confident at all times, but there is a certain doubt. Like, am I going to be able to translate to the new crowd? And my thing was I was never really into punchlines. I was never really into metaphor after metaphor. I kind of would season them in. My thing was like embarrassing my opponent. And I noticed that that type of thing has changed. Like, everybody wants everybody to have a good performance. I was telling this to Sharon. Like, I saw you like almost coaching the dude to win. And it was me. I was just smiling. And then when it was my turn, I was freestyled about how you choked and like laughed at you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so wait, looking at the brackets as they turned out, who, if you were battling and could have battled anybody in these brackets, who do you feel like you would have wanted to battle?
Who choked the most? That's who I wanted to battle. Get that easy pass to the next round. That's what the fuck I want.
So you're on that Gage Thesaurus shit, okay?
I don't like. Yeah, back in the day, you wanted to win. You wanted to win. Yeah, I would took up. See, he said too many words. I need them to shut the fuck up for like a good 30 seconds. Carter D's got like 24% of the vote. Nah, I needed no doubt that I won, crushed, demolished. That's what I want.
And I love Carter, but that was a pity vote, 100%.
Yeah, it's so likable. You know what I mean? And shout out, I want to talk about my.
He ran some sort of a performance, right? He let his opponent run the bars and shit, so he didn't let the battle down. So that could deserve the 24%.
I guess, yeah. I mean, he served, and this is, I love Carter, right? So I hate to say this, but he served well as a punching bag for the night.
Oh, come on.
It's just like fights, you know what I mean? Somebody lights someone up all night long. It's like, yo, I know you're better than that, but at least for that night, we got to see you, we got to see the other guy shine.
Yeah. And he worked so hard too. He tried his hardest. Like, I seen him pacing back and forth, mom spaghetti and all that. And so it was just like the biggest battle of his life still. But yeah, he couldn't string them together.
You were about to say something, Knock, before Krill brought up about the point about Clone and Carter and how that made Clone shine. You said you were about to say something, but you want to bring up my raps or something. You said.
Yeah, I think we was talking about Carter. Oh, yeah, I was like, you was praising my hosting skills. But people don't miss the comedian skills. Like, when Carter sat down, I was telling my boy the rap, I was like, see, this is the shit they don't appreciate because they don't know. Like, I was being the straight man. I was setting him up for joke after joke about what just happened, right? So
when he was not in that state, though.
Yo, he reacted well, and that's why I think Carter is always a star no matter what happens. Like, so when he walked up, I was like, MC Carter Dean. And nobody's ever called Carter Dean MC Carter Dean before. That's not his name. But what I was doing is I was allowing him to do what I know Carter's going to do. And he was like, well, you can't call me that after this performance. And everybody laughed, and we all forgave him immediately. You know what I'm saying? Y'all enjoy, man. Yeah. But that's because I've known Carter for a nice little minute, too.
Yeah, and plus too, that's back to the natural hosting skills that I talk about, right? You know how to approach the situation and then get the guests comfortable, right? And even though you know Carter, I find that harder sometimes when I know the person, that where it's like, obviously not coming off that thing. It's not a post-battle type thing, but like interviewing them, getting them comfortable, because I feel weird because I'm getting them comfortable in a conversational situation, but I know this dude. But like that's another credit to your natural hosting skills for you to be able to make Carter comfortable after a performance like that, because that was brutal.
That was painful.
That's that's just human skills, right? Like, if you come off and you had such a terrible time, like, the worst thing I could do is, like, to me at least, to be like, oh, it's okay, and try to hug you and shit. Like, come on, man, ain't all. Let's get over it and move on to the next one and shit. So let's crack jokes. Let's smile. Let's be happy. And what I try to do, by the way, is a lot of these people I'm meeting for the first time, like Clone, I never met him before in my life. And so after the battle, I'll go up to him and talk to them, and I'll tell them exactly how I felt so that I don't feel uncomfortable telling them on screen or making my feelings felt about what happened in the battle. So like some people never like you're direct. If you ask him who's gonna win or if you ask him who he thought would win, he'll never want to say it out loud because he has so many relationships with these people. It's he'll feel like I don't want to step on anybody's toes or I don't want to make anybody mad. So people just be emotional and shit, right? But me, what I did was I walked straight up to him. I was like, yo, you lost, B. I thought you lost that, whatever. I thought you won or whatever, or you did a good job or you'll get him next time, whatever like that. So I walk up to him and tell him exactly how I felt to their face in private so that way when they hear me say it on screen, they don't be surprised or shocked or whatever like that. So shout out to So Severe, the most humble human being on earth. I don't know how you rap that loud and aggressive and then just be so motherfucking humble on the road. So I remember, like, I gave my opinion of that battle, which I thought was a great fucking showing from both of them. I thought Scotty won. I'm of the opinion that
I thought that too.
You gotta put that personality in there above all else. So I like the way he did his thing. But I told So Severe, I was like, listen, I thought Scotty won. I think the people in the chat thought he won. But you won the battle like you were supposed to do. Like you did what you were supposed to do. Like at the end of the day, Scotty might have been more likable, maybe, if you want to give him that. But So Severe won that fucking battle by trying to tear his head off. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
and so I was like, at the end of the day, y'all both win. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of shit, like, afterwards, I'll go up to talk to him. The only person I didn't go up to talk to was Rich Dollars, because, yeah, that shit is sad. There was no consoling that shit. He always did that shit.
There was no consoling him.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I just let Lush do that interview. I wasn't even...
Wait,
I ain't even want to talk to the boy.
Random side note, and we can hear you just fine. I'm just kind of giving you a hard time. Where are you at, man? You on Wall Street? Like, what is happening?
Listen, Amy, I can't give y'all the location, all right? I'm out here living life right now, you know? Actually, I'm getting some food and shit.
Where
and he was like, yo, do you want to go get somewhere else? And you want to call back later? I was like, you know what? I'm chilling right now. I'm in a good mood. Later, I might be upset, you know?
Well, I need to personally know where you're eating.
Oh, my bad. Oh, you ain't going, Amy, you might not gonna like this. You ain't gonna like this, Amy.
Okay.
I'm eating at the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay.
I'm eating at the Cheesecake Factory. I know you want me to eat at some hole in the wall.
Oh my God, wait, which one? Where?
Millennia.
Stop it. Kill yourself. I liked you so much. Okay. All right.
Since Amy's bringing this up now, it brings up a question in my mind, okay? You have a certain area code in the States. I'm not going to give that out. And the area code we're calling you on, though, is 416. That is Toronto, my friend. That is my fucking neck of the woods. What's the...
Why?
What you want me to tell them? Where they at again? Kitchener. Yeah, when they saw the number, they was like, Kitchener? Get this shit out of here.
Where's the 407 at? What the fuck?
I was like,
yo, so my phone is
416,
dying.
what the fuck?
My phone is dying. So the company I'm with a young lady who asked to eat here, by the way, Amy. Amy only appreciate the food if they dropped it on the floor at least twice and shit. But
oh, I can't stand
gotta eat in the actual hole in the wall and shit. But so she's from Toronto, and I actually met her. I don't know what fucking battle it was, but one of those battles. So yeah, I've been to Toronto. The first time I went for a battle, and then I went like maybe 2 more times for battling purposes, and since then I've been like 7 times. That's because I love it up there. I'm like part Canadian and shit at this point. So I got friends up there.
Yeah, I was at the Justice battle, the Blackout 2, I think it was. And fucking
yeah, that was Blackout.
Yeah, yo, that was crazy. Yeah, the fucking yeah. Actually, we had Avo on like 2 weeks ago or something. The first KOTD Avo ever went to was World Domination 1. That was the first one I ever went to. And then, like looking forward to having you on. I'm like looking back at battles. It's like, oh, I was at this battle. Obviously, I knew you from Grind Time days, but that was only YouTube stuff. And like the Blackout 2, right? Like fucking, let's keep it honest, you're lower on the card, right? And I was like, oh, yo, especially the fucking, oh, yeah, I'm doing this to you. I'll never forget that, because that was fucking, that way the energy rose in the room. They're like, yo, this guy's killing this motherfucker. How much of that round was freestyle? Because you were telling him, like, you want to freestyle? I can do this too.
Magician's curtain. Here's a little trick, though. Here's a hit for you and your viewers. All right? Y'all can go back and watch the battle. If you listen to his round and you hear what he says and you hear how many rebuttals I did to him in my round, just go back and listen, and then you'll be able to figure it out. Because I pretty much rebutted almost everything he said.
The whole fucking round. Your whole round was basically fucking freestyle, right?
Almost.
Like good 85, 90%. That's what I thought. That's insane, man. That was so much fun too, that round, especially with the fucking I'm doing this to you. That was fucking.
We just need Ak and Sharon flipping each other every 10.
Nah, yo, I told you it takes supreme confidence to do that shit. To be able to freestyle like that, if I came back, it'd be completely written. Everything had to be written and performed and precise. Cause I probably can't freestyle like that like I used to. I probably could get one or two off, but not like that. I was just comfortable, and that's just how it is. And you know, that was probably my best performance, and that was my first time in King of the Dot and my last time. That was my last battle. I never battled after that.
Yeah. That was really crazy. And I am glad too, especially because of knowing you from Grind Time days and then seeing you live at KOTD, and after all these years what it's came to where you're hosting, you know, a KOTD GP, and now I'm interviewing you. It's fucking, I find shit like that super cool, how that comes fucking full circle like that.
It always comes full circle like that.
Yeah,
and,
man.
You know, I was always going behind the scenes because Direct was working with Rap Grid. So what happened was, the same time thing, he called me up like, yo, let's go get these interviews. And I was like, all right, bet. And that's how you end up knowing the battle is closer too. And that's the most respect you could give somebody who freestyles is telling them you couldn't tell whether it was freestyle or not. So like Real Deal, Disaster, Reverse Live, Dumbfounded, people like this, they'll hit you up personally and they'll tell you about what they thought about your round. So these same people I'm on screen watching and being a fan of this shit, they'll hit you up personally and tell you. That's how tight-knit the battle community was back then. So even if you didn't have 10,000 views, if you had the respect of your peers, that was everything. You know what I'm saying? So I got lines that battlers hit me up and say, yo, I'm going to use that. I'm going to flip that. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that is where when you look back at it and you're like, yo, I did all that. Do you really need to come back? So sometimes I just be like, fuck it. Like, maybe I could go further with it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got the respect of your peers, and you cemented your place, especially in the early days of this modern era battle rap, and being one that can freestyle.
Word, appreciate
that. In terms of the freestylers that we see, you know, modern era, I mean, not like they weren't around when you were, you know, coming to the end of your battle career, so to speak, but like the guys who have really grown into the best freestylers, the Sharons, the DNAs, the Trez, like guys like that. I assume you like those guys, but who, you know, which ones stand out to you? Which ones can you really appreciate being a former freestyler yourself?
Well, okay, so like I said, the ultimate compliment is when you can't tell if they're freestyling or not. So I think, and I like the way Chef Trez has kind of made his into a show, because basically it's a strategy to win the battle. Like, for some reason, like if you write a good punchline, and the crowd may say, like they may give you a slight reaction. But if they know it's right there on the spot, for some reason that just makes them way more into it. It doesn't matter really what you say. So you almost get like a head start when people know you're freestyling. So it's kind of a thin line to walk, right? So Paulo, for the most part, when he's rapping, and I know he doesn't do too many battles per year, but when he's rapping, it's literally almost impossible to tell when he's going into the freestyle and when he's going into his written. Like, to me, that's the pinnacle. When you can't tell, when I can't pinpoint when you're freestyling, and me, a person who knows this shit inside and out, that's when I know you showing some skills. So Shout out to Chef Trez, shout out to Sharon. I could pinpoint the freestyle though. Like when Sharon was in his second round and he was saying like, yeah, I'm glad you scoped, I'm glad you choked or something like that. Somebody, a layman or somebody not as experienced with it might have thought that was a freestyle, but no, it was more like a pre-buttle. It was more like he wrote it and it just so happened to line up with what just happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
it was like a throwaway bar he had in his head still, type thing. Like
or it could have been
already
just part
had
of his round. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But with Hollow, you literally don't know. Like he weaves it in so well that you literally don't know, and almost goes underappreciated because he does it so well. Another one would be what's my man's name? From the Wasted Talent group. He's actually battling on this upcoming card. Lou Cypher.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. I was thinking tournament battlers. I was like, who the fuck? No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lou
Lou
Cypher, that motherfucker can freestyle. Like
yes.
he can freestyle and make it sound exactly like when he writes. That's how good he is. Like, and so I think most people don't know it because he dresses it up so well. So when he does it in a battle, people don't appreciate it as much. So Chef Trez, I appreciate the showmanship. When he says 3 of them things, that shit is exciting. That's actually how I got into him, probably just like everybody else, because of the 3 of them things. It's the fact that he said it at the end and put a button on it and let you know this is what I'm doing and you gotta appreciate that. I loved it. But this motherfucker Lou Cypher, you never know. You know what I mean? So I would say those who are currently active and actually use the freestyles, those are the ones I like the most. DNA, Sharon, they are undeniably dope. And if we freestyle battle right now, I'm pretty sure they would destroy me and embarrass me in such a manner in which I would be glad that I retired and whatnot. But they use more of what we call observation bars. So they'll be like, this is the beat, this is the geek, and look, next to me just so happens to be a tree. You know what I'm saying? And the crowd goes crazy because they can see that tree right there in front of them. You know what I'm saying? But it's a little harder when you're like rebuttaling what they said 2 or 3 bars deep into your round. Like you're in the middle of the round and now you're rebuttaling. And you know what I'm saying? That's it that Hollow can do. You know what I'm saying? That just blows my mind. Now, don't get me wrong, I've done it too, but he does it on such a consistent basis that he's just one of the best. He's one of the best at that particular artery.
And look, there are a lot of battlers that could have been on this Grand Prix, but of my short list of people I wish I could have seen, and Ness in the South is one of them as well. Hollow is at the top of the list for sure.
Oh, word. Yeah, anytime you can get Hollow to do anything, you're doing something big. They probably couldn't afford him, honestly. I see him on Instagram talking about how much the leagues owe him, how much he getting paid residuals and shit. They probably said, yeah, we're going to get somebody else instead of that.
Yeah. And thanks to you, we know what the battlers are making.
Oh, yeah, word. You're welcome. I heard you say that. That's one of those things I don't know if I'm allowed to say or not.
Oh, shit. Keep with the freestyling thing, though. We've talked to a couple people out on the show about the legendary guys who weren't as popular, like an Idea. I think it was Juice that Sharon brought up. Oh man, incredible!
One of the greatest freestylers.
But when it started getting a little bit of popularity, the Jins, the people like that, like for a guy who really does this, like you said, this shit inside out. Like Jin was real popular with it, and there's other guys too, like Bishop, who beat Jin twice, and other guys in that community. But when you look at those guys, what do you think of them? Right, Idea is a legend. We're talking about current day guys, but those people who started bringing some shine to it. What are your opinions on some of them? Who are some of them that you like? I'm not looking for you to shit on people, but what are your thoughts on that?
But
that
if you do,
era of it. Yeah, but if you do, you do.
Well, yeah, Idea is a great one to bring up. On this mic, I'll be a rap enhancer. Look at this cat. He wants to be my fucking backup dancer. Like the speed at which he thought of that bar while the guy was dancing is incredible. If you go back and watch that battle, I think it was a Blaze battle or some shit like that. It was just incredible. It was like, how how does he write this stuff? Like, how does he do this? And then you got who else did I fuck with? Breeze Everflowing, fucking incredible. Yeah, so that's kind of how I was raised. My brothers actually battle rap before, you know, there was a YouTube or a camera to film it and shit. And so I used to watch them. And, you know, I remember one of the craziest lines, my brother was like, your t-shirt, your tee used to be a crew neck, and so I yanked you by your t-shirt or some shit like that. And it's just the ability to improvise on the spot and to come up with something so witty and so in the moment is what I latched onto. So I kind of latched onto that side of battles. But I'm from the East Coast, so of course I saw a lot of like the Murder Mooks. And to be quite honest with you, I wasn't as impressed with him. Because to me, what Murder Mook was doing in a battle, and this is no spite to Murder Mook. Shout out to T-Rex. Me and him was supposed to do a 2-on-2 battle not a long time ago. But,
as partners?
As partners, yeah.
Stop it.
You gotta find that in the YouTube.
That's the shit. That's that shit we never knew we needed, but here we are.
I've been telling people I want to go back to YouTube and find a comment when I told this dude that Roy Jones was going to fight Mike Tyson back in like 2003. And he was like, "Get the fuck out of here! You don't know what you're talking about." Now look, all right, but yeah. So Murder Mook and all that wasn't as impressive to me. You know what I mean? So I was fucking with Serious Jones just because he added that extra element of it can come anywhere. Now, of course, I have my favorite, you know, RP Party Artie, people like that. Math was always a big favorite of mine. To this day, I think Math is one of the better underrated. As to be as exalted as he is for his position to be so high, I still say he's underrated. He beat Verb and they won URL battle back in the day, but that's neither here nor there. So like, I wasn't as impressed with them because they didn't have that element of surprise really. And it was, to me, I was like, yo, I can hear what you're doing. I can hear Beanie Siegel do it, but do it better. You know what I'm saying? Like Beanie Siegel can rap with 100 punchlines and kill the beat and all that. Like, why am I impressed by this? But there's a certain like ability to style point that you get from them that you don't get. So they don't stutter. They don't fumble a line. You know what I'm saying? They could go on for 2 hours and shit. You know what I'm saying? So when the worlds all collided and Arsenal got put in the box and someone said easy, it was like a meeting of two worlds that you never thought you would see before. And I always thought like, yo, if a freestyler meets a quote unquote street rapper, he's going to destroy him because the freestyler can do this. But then you start to see like this other little unique things. And then when we started adding in the written complex, like it took a while for people to get used to it, like to get adjusted. Like I know me, I was still writing my battles as if I was freestyling. So like my setup would be a little less impactful or whatever like that. So, and then as you grow, we're to a point where I don't think there's two sides anymore. At the end of the day, it's just like, who can write better? So back in the day, I loved the legend. Like I'm talking about Busy B versus Kool Mo D. Me and motherfucking Penn, we was riding on the way to the event, and we had like a 30-minute conversation about that. Fucking Direct was like, yeah, so what was it like being there for that? And Penn was like, I'm not that old, nigga. But yeah.
Swave was there, like, though, right?
had to be though. Ron Battler, Time Traveler and shit. But yeah, like you could see the invention of the personal. Like when Busy B, I don't know if y'all seen the battle with Busy B or heard the battle. Busy B was fucking still yelling out "We're my Capricorns and the people." You know what I'm saying? He's still doing that. And then fucking Kool Mo D, like, cool out with all that fucking get the party started soon. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then he lost that battle because everybody's like, oh, he had to get personal. Busy B got the party started. So just to see how the logic goes and the reception from the crowd and how everything goes, like, to me, those people are incredible. But stay where you were. A lot of these legends shouldn't come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was incredible back then. I got respect for you. All that. Your spot is reserved. But I'm not trying to see Breeze Everflowing versus Arsenal next week. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not my thing. Like, I want new people to get on, to speak to what Amy B was saying. Like, yeah, these spots could have went to Hollow and all that, but his spot is there. Like, let's see someone new. Let's create some new stars. And honestly, that was the problem with wrestling for a long time. Like, I heard y'all talking about how battle rap is so much like in the MMA. And to me, it's more like wrestling. I just grew up watching wrestling and boxing and all that, and I didn't really get into MMA as heavy as I am now until about 2005. So to me, I see all the parallels with wrestling. And when you don't create those new stars, shit gets old. So I'm not even going to direct stay telling me, don't tell people this, but I wasn't in love with battle rap for a few years. Like, I kind of stayed away. I watched the battle here and there, but like I tired of seeing the same people, even if it was the same people versus the new dudes. Like, I didn't want to see that. I wanted to see, I loved it when Bill Collector went up against M City. That shit, because that was just new shit I'd never seen before. It was two different people with their own styles. That's another thing that I hate about the new age. Like, everybody got the same fucking style. I believe back in the day, they had more emphasis on being yourself. So you had the Dirtbag Dans and the Soul Cons, you know what I'm saying? Who sounded completely different from everybody else. And that's the shit that made it so interesting. You had to see every fucking battle that came out because every battle was going to be different. Now, everybody arguing over the same 15 punchlines. Like, I said palm trees and bomb trees first. Like, everybody arguing over the same punchlines. There's so many outlets to get your footage put on. Like, you got no-name motherfuckers telling veterans that, you stole that bar from me because in some battle you never heard of, I said that line. That shit is stupid to me. I think.
So wait, side note, are you of the belief that, like, City now super sleeper? Because, like, I feel like a lot of people were like, whoa, bro, what?
Oh yeah, I was picking him to win the whole time. You know what I mean? Shout out to my boy that I thought he was fucking Italian, and come to find out he's from Canada. He's a Canadian. He's a fucking Canadian. I was picking M City to win. His pin game is very strong. You know what I'm saying? I just think he's one of those people that didn't get the look, and that's why I think this Grand Prix. I said it over and over again on the broadcast. I'm gonna continue to say it because the Grand Prix is giving a spotlight to people who got overlooked and shit, or ain't really like okay, for example, Scotty, Shotty P. No, let's do Shotty. He's had big name battles, but he's not a big name battler. You know what I'm saying? Like, pardon the fucking bluntness of what I'm saying, is Shotty's not a big name battler though. He is capable.
I feel like that depends on who you ask. I feel like Shotty and Scotty are not the same conversation. In this Grand Prix.
I agree with that. Shotty's, I'd say, much more more known than Scotty anyway, and has
definitely on this platform. But when I was actually switching from Scotty to Shotty, but we can have a Scotty versus Shotty conversation if y'all like.
So I want the battle, not the conversation.
Okay, that would be very dope, actually. I think. But I was just saying that Shotty, although he's had big name battles, like he's battled Sway Sever, he's battled some bigger names. I don't think he's a big name marquee battler, and I think what this competition does is puts the spotlight on it. So like you could put out these battles with these names, and they might get 200,000, 300,000, which to me is crazy because I come from a time when your battle got 10,000 views and you wrote home to your mother about it and shit. And but you might do just that, but that doesn't necessarily mean when Shotty goes to battle MC Palm Tree, and I keep saying Palm Tree because I'm right in front of it, so maybe I am a DNA freestyler. MC Palm Tree versus Shotty may not necessarily do 200,000. You see what I'm saying? So you become a big name battler when any battle you do is a big deal. And so what this Grand Prix does is give it spotlight to people who are super dope and should be on that platform, should have 200, 300,000 views every battle. So somebody like Shotty or Scotty, I think, are fucking incredible. But when are they going to get their turn? Like, do they have to wait 3 years from now to battle Verb, and then Verb chokes and nobody likes to battle? Like, let's make some new stars. You know what I mean? Let's put two people that we know are good, put the spotlight on them, build it up, build a card around them, get pay-per-view, promote all that shit, and let's make new stars. You know what I'm saying?
So wait, like, we have had these moments, right? Where like, oh, Frack would not have gotten that look, or oh my God, that was Active's best battle ever, right? So like, what do you think would be different if it was an entire Grand Prix of Diz and Thesaurus and Pat Stay and Sharon and Yeah, like, well, what do you think would be different? Do you think that it would be like more or less watched? Do you think, well, what would be the differences?
It definitely be more watched. That's without a shadow of a doubt. But it's kind of the luck of the plug, right? Because it's almost like they're putting it on the front screen. Okay, we're getting to this point where I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not. But most pay-per-views, right, they do between 15 and 30,000. And the 30,000 views or 30,000 buys are, it just so happens of what's going on that day, like counter programming. Like, for example, they do their pay-per-views on a Sunday. There's football games to watch. There's other shit to watch. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you're going to go up and down when it comes to live. When it comes to you put a video on YouTube and I can watch it whenever I want to, you have a better chance of getting those major views or that major viewership or eyes on it. So it's just the name of the game is a little different now because we're trying to fuck with the live. I actually think this is innovative, and I think this is the way this shit should go. I mean, they've streamed battles before, but the way it's live, like, gotta catch it right now on some Pikachu shit is just how it should be. Like, you know, it's a way of doing it that's different than how it's been done. And if you put these 8 battlers in there, you would have less contestants because you would have to pay them. King of the Dot is paying everybody per round, so you would have to pay these big names what they're worth. So it would have less of them. So if we did that, the Grand Prix would probably be like 8 battles. You know what I'm saying? And it would be quicker and it'd be done over easier. Now maybe if there's 8 battles in one day, maybe people watch for longer and those viewerships go up. When people are tweeting out, oh, Disaster versus Real Deal is about to happen, maybe that brings in more odds. But my thing is, like, yeah, that would be interesting, but how does that help the next time? You know what I'm saying? Are we going to go get those
as somebody
same
who's not a KOTD employee or a Twitch employee, like, do you feel that based on especially the fan response right now, that there should or could be some kind of like, hey, if we are a tier 1 or tier 2 subscriber, maybe we can watch this shit for 10 hours afterwards. I was at work. Like, do you feel like there should be some kind of like, not blanket rewatch, but some kind of like, not everybody's available at 3 p.m. on a Sunday?
Hell yeah, why the fuck not? I want to watch the shit back. You know what I mean? I want to see. I ain't even trying to watch the battles. I want to see what I did, how many jokes I made that landed and shit. So, hell yeah, why not? You know, I think what you're talking about might be a limitation of the actual platform. Like, honestly, like, it's just Twitch. It's not YouTube. YouTube has.
Oh no, there is
amount of
definitely
bandwidth.
watching on Twitch. That's been a decision made high up the chain because they've already said they're going to be available at some point and not on YouTube. So I mean, that being said, like, they can
Well,
be.
YouTube is the enemy, right? You can't put it on YouTube.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming with their contract with Twitch, they can't put it on YouTube, but they could allow replays or whatever on Twitch if they wanted, but or if it was in line with their contract, but it's not, obviously. So,
Well, Amy, let me tell you this: if anybody can get it done, you can. I'm gonna sit you down with the head of Twitch, and we want to let you negotiate the deal, yo.
You don't even know, but go on.
Oh, shit.
But
so
I agree. Yeah, they should have a playback.
You mentioned Jim Lampley earlier in this. We have been told directly from a man named Direct that
Directly from Direct.
You're the dude to talk to about some MMA, some combat sports. We were told on a show to ask who your father is. I mean, Direct's got us all hype about this stuff. So let's start with who's your dad? Is it Don King? Is it Freddie Roach? Is Freddie Roach your dad? Is like, who's your dad?
It's Don King.
None of the above. But my dad had dealings. None of the above, but my dad had dealings with all of them. My father. Shit. Okay, let me see how, before I give it away, let me see how deep y'all knowledge runs, right?
Oh shit.
So Manny Pacquiao, who's his promoter now?
His promoter.
His promoter, yeah.
I don't know. I know his coach. Fuck the promoters.
Like his manager or
Bob Arum.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't know he was with Arum. Was he always with Arum?
He was not always with Bob.
I didn't think so, because he was with who before that?
Therein lies your answer, sir. That's what my father is.
Oh shit!
Okay,
So who is it?
Murad Muhammad. You ever seen that movie with Vin Rames and Wesley Snipes, and they're fighting in the prison?
Yeah,
Undisputed?
what's that called? Undisputed or some shit?
And it's called Undisputed.
Yeah.
That movie is very loosely based on what actually happened, where a champion by the name of Eddie Mustafa actually fought for the world title in Rawway State Prison. Now, if you know anything about my intros, because he's like, yo, I don't want to give away your area code. Anytime I intro myself or anything, I'll be like, yo, it's out, baby. North New Jersey is the point of origin. Pensacola, Florida. Orlando, we in here. Freeze frame. I always say that shit, right? So, North New Jersey is where I was born. And that's where my father's from. Rawway State Prison is in Rawway, New Jersey. My father, when he became okay, I'm going to take you back. My father, born and raised in North New Jersey, became a part of the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam says, fuck the white man.
Like where at? Are we talking like Tom's River? Where are we at?
No, we in North New Jersey. We in Brick City.
Okay.
So he became part of the Nation of Islam. So because the Nation of Islam at the time said, fuck the white man, you can't have a white man teaching your kids or policing you. So if you can't call the police because they're white, what can you do? You got to police yourself, right? So they built a whole thing called the FOI, the Fruit of Islam, which was like the military wing or the police position of all that. So when you see the people in suits doing security at all the rap shows, that's the Nation of Islam. It's called the Fruit of Islam. My father was in the Fruit of Islam and became like a 80-degree black belt, suede seventh dad type of dude. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, he became the personal security for one young Cassius Clay, also known as Muhammad Ali. And when he became that security for Muhammad Ali, he ended up traveling the world, including to Africa. You know what I'm saying? And one of the best things you could do for a Nation of Islam militant black man is take him to Africa. And what he saw over there was the, which one was it? I think it was when they fought, not the Thriller in Manila. Was it Thriller in Manila? Maybe it was the Thriller. Nah, that was South Africa, though. Which one was the one in Africa, man?
Thriller in Manila. That was, the one in Africa was Rumble in the Jungle.
Here you go, Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah,
So my father saw that as a young man and was like, yo, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So he had like 3 restaurants and some crazy shit and a barbershop. And he liquidated all that shit. And then he went into the negotiations with HBO. And the HBO was like, yo, you talk a good game, but what the fuck can you do for me that we can't do for ourselves? And then he said, yo, I know Eddie Mustafa. And if so facto, you could go to ESPN if you want. And you can look up. They got like they was going to do a 30 for 30 on it, but they ended up turning it into like a online audio, whatever. And so you could go in there and listen to him and talk. You'll hear my father like chime in one time. But he put all that together. And so through the years, he promoted Razor Ruddock versus Mike Tyson. If you ever watch the first fight, they get into this big brawl. My father ended up stomping somebody in the head and shit and got sued and all kinds of shit.
What?
Allegedly. And
allegedly.
Wait, what?
You were.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to look it up. You got to do the research. So then, he promoted Razor Ruddock. That might be a name y'all might know.
Of course.
And then we moved to Pensacola, Florida. And who else is from Pensacola, Florida? But one young Roy Jones Jr.
Roy
So we
Jones
ended up,
Jr.
Yeah, so we actually, Roy Jones Jr. and my family is actually pretty close. So you actually might see one of my brothers bringing him out to the ring.
For real?
In this next Mike Tyson fight. Yeah.
What do you think's gonna happen? Do you think Jones is ready?
Yeah, at first I was like, Roy Jones, you're doing the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? But then I saw, so basically I based it on the footage. Mike.
The reason I'm asking is because Mike looks like he's on some sort of space roids, man. He just looks like he's eating, I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Kryptonite.
Yeah, I don't know how to call it, man. They're both so far removed from when they were.
Wait, is it still happening? Because I feel like it may not happen.
Yeah, it's still happening.
They keep pushing
they
it back
pushed
and
it back.
keep adding more helmets and more elbow covers and all kinds of shit.
No. Roy was on Rogan recently, and Roy explained why they pushed it back. They pushed it back because they got so much attention from it that they were like, "Yo, we extend it longer, we make more money." That's what it was. But you see
As long
headlines
as they
out there
don't-
that Roy's afraid. Man, Roy ain't afraid. That's not a thing. You don't do that as a career. That be afraid. That's not.
Have you seen Mike though?
It doesn't matter, man.
I don't know, man.
It doesn't matter, man. So,
I
you know
don't
what
know.
it-
Them videos look really flattering for Mike. Listen, this ain't home cooking.
Oh,
Because
for
I
real.
picked Mike immediately. I picked Mike. I was like, yo, what is Roy doing? But then I saw some of that footage. Mike was a little slow, dude. Now, I don't know what he's like now. You know, when I saw them footage before, like, he went hard. He was punching real hard. But, like, I was like, yeah, well, what do you do if the guy's not standing right in front of you? What if he just moves out the way? So,
We had this
I don't know. I think
conversation
Roy
the
had
other
a
day.
chance.
I think Roy has a real good chance. Do you know who Ron Frazier is at all? He used to
Wait,
corner Randy
I feel
Couture.
like they both have a real good chance because this is some fucking Masters League shit.
Yeah, everything is diminishing returns. So the older you get, the more experience you get, and the more like
Exactly.
you can see things coming. But the slower your reactions are. So even though you see it coming, like Muhammad Ali once famously said, like, yo, I'm telling my feet to move, but they won't move. I can see the punch coming, but I can't move. So it just be like that.
Especially watching Muhammad Ali, because obviously I'm 39, so I wasn't alive and old enough to recognize and realize what Muhammad Ali was doing. Muhammad Ali was doing his thing, right? But as I got older and I go back and watch his fights, because it's like, oh, yo, I love Tyson, I love Roy, I love De La Hoya, whoever, right? Like late 90s, whatever. And then it's like you go back and you watch Muhammad Ali. That's a fucking special gift. That what he did would work in boxing today. And like what you just brought up, he's telling his feet to do things, his body to do things, and they're not reacting. You know what I mean? His mind knows how quickly to react, but his body doesn't. And yeah, he got worked a few times from that. And it's crazy how when you lose that step, because it's not like basketball or hockey or fucking whatever, where we see you play a few times a week, or like football, we see you once a week for season after season. We see you 3-4 times a year. And as those years go on, we might not see you for 3 months, and that 3-month gap could be the biggest drop off you'll ever fucking see.
Exactly.
Side note, I met Ali, and he was like literally the nicest human I've ever met. Ever.
You met Muhammad Ali?
I did. I was living in Michigan for a hot minute, almost 20 years ago, and he also had a house there. And I was a telemarketer, which I do not share freely, but where our office was above a restaurant that he frequented often, and we got word that he was like down there, and everybody else was like, "We can't do that," and I was like, "I'm gonna do that, bye." And like, yeah, no, he was like literally the nicest person to ever live.
Word. And like, it's documented that he gave so much to the fans at all times. Like, he was putting on the show at all times. Like, and that, again, wrestling, you know why he's like that, right? Why he started yelling out, "I'm the prettiest," and doing all that talking, all that showmanship. He basically created that whole marketing scheme that almost every sport to this day uses to they want to make a star, even in battle rap. He sparked it, but the person that created it was a man named Gorgeous George, and he was a professional wrestler in like the 50s or 40s. And he just, his name was Gorgeous George. He would come out to the ring. He would act real effeminate. The crowd would hate him so much, but they would pay to see him lose and shit. And it would start riots over it. And he would come out and say, and tell people how pretty he was and how ugly everybody else was. So that Muhammad Ali went and saw that show, went backstage and told him, and Gorgeous George told him to do. And he started using that. And that's how he got his first fight, his first heavyweight championship fight. Otherwise, he probably would have never got it. But he made so much noise in the media, everybody wanted to see him get his ass whipped by the Big Bear. He's a Big Bear. You know what I mean?
That's some big Chael Sonnen vibes right there.
Yeah.
Word.
Connor,
Yeah,
Tito,
ain't nothing new under
back
the
in.
sun, right?
Yeah, and being a guy that you've made your presence and made your mark in an industry where using words is what gets you ahead, and you're obviously in a combat sports and martial arts your entire life, so there's like this honor integrity thing where you don't talk. What are your thoughts when you get a guy who can run his mouth, promote the fight, plus back it up? Would you rather see one or the other, or do you like the mix of both? What are your thoughts on the two of them combining?
This is like I was saying about battle rap. I like to see the different personalities. Now you got your Conor McGregor, who's highly entertaining, but you also got your GSP, who's really nice guy. So
and highly effective.
They both can coexist.
And you can appreciate both?
You can appreciate both as long as it's them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, for example, one of my favorite players right now is Kawhi Leonard. And one of the main reasons I like him is because he doesn't talk at all. You know what I'm saying? He don't got social media. He really doesn't care. He truly does not care about what you're saying. Same thing with Jimmy Buckets, who talks a bit more, but he is vocal in the fact that he doesn't care about how people perceive him. So it's a mixture of both. We got room for everybody. I know for me, for example, honor, like, I didn't grow up in the karate. That's more of a traditional martial arts thing. You don't really get taught honor and boxing, you know what I'm saying? But
you get green lighted.
Exactly. You get your ass whooped, you say the wrong shit.
Yeah.
So, you learn it through trial and error, but karate, they kind of reinforce it and make you bow and all that. But it has this that's how you got GSP. So it has its positives.
Who's your favorite fighter out right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
I got a few, but let's say in boxing, I fuck with Tank.
All right.
I really like him because for me, he has a lot of skill. At the end of the day, you can see that he just really wants to beat the other guy. Like, for him, at the end of the day, he just wants to whoop the other guy's ass. So I can appreciate that. And then MMA, that's what I follow more closely. Like, I catch boxing when I can, when it's an important fight. So, like, I just saw the
Lomachenko Lopez.
Yeah, I just saw Lomachenko lose. He lost. So I like that fight. And Lopez is a star now. I appreciate that. I hope he gets big, even though I think he might lose the rematch. But actually, I'm strongly in the opinion that Lomachenko might win the rematch. So, but in MMA though, there's too many to name. Like for a long time, my favorite was Anderson Silva.
Fuck
he's a fucking. He would come out like it's all the showman shit, right? He would come out to that DMX song. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It ain't no
the lights
sun,
go out, and it's like when the lights go out, and then the lights turn on, and he comes out skipping. I was like, my fucking blood would boil every time. I'm like, oh my god, somebody's gonna die tonight.
Crazy, exactly, right? And I'm trying to tell you, like, that shit. I used to be like, there was nobody watching MMA. You couldn't go out and watch it at the fucking restaurant if you wanted to. You couldn't watch it nowhere, so I had to like stream it on a stream by myself, and I'm in there yelling because Anderson Silva's coming down, and my roommate's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Because they don't give a fuck. So it's so crazy to see the transition, and now it's like it's like pretty much the number one combat sport now, right? So, but Yoel Romero, I fucking like. It's hard for me to root against him. I love everything about this man. I love the way he cheats. I love his attitude. I love the way his fucking, I love the way his broken English works. Like, this man is just admirable to me, man.
Oh, he's a Vanderlei fan, but okay.
He's a who fan?
Vanderlei.
Oh, he's all right.
If you're talking about like broken English, he has his entire own language.
Oh yeah, but see, Yoel's is more funny because he's so smooth and his voice is so funny sounding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Remember Not for Gay Jesus? Remember when they mistook what he said? Yo, man, that was so bad. And it was right after the U.S. legalized same-sex marriage. It was the following weekend.
What are you doing, America? What are you doing?
No. Oh man.
You know, okay, Jesus.
Wait. Who do you fuck with from Orlando? I mean, for me, like Seth Petrozelli is the first name I would think, but like, who do you fuck with from Orlando?
Seth Petrozelli.
I think you might be a Kimbo guy. I think you might be a Kimbo guy.
Well, Kimball's not from Orlando. He's from Miami. So
yeah, I know. The way you laughed at Seth, though.
Yeah, I had it. Yeah, nah. I mean, I fuck with Seth. He showed that there's. I hate to say this phrase, but he shows that there's levels. And I was trying to tell people, like, I know people right now that weigh 100 less pounds than Kimbo that would fuck Kimbo up. I was like, you can't fight that way.
For
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
For sure.
And people didn't believe me. But
Yeah.
you know, there's a I mean, y'all can say what you want about Mike Perry, but he's a very likable guy, and he's from Orlando. So I fuck with Mike Perry. There's a guy coming into the UFC. He's just from the
LFA?
Dana White Want to Be a Fighter series. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. Yeah, contender
He
series.
hasn't made his debut. He's real long. Like he's like maybe like 6'4", 6'5". I think he fights at 205 though. I'm not sure. He might fight heavyweight. His name is, I'm not sure what his last name is, but his name is Phil. And he has like a whole Fresh Prince aesthetic to him. I would keep an eye on him. He's gonna have a fight coming up.
Is that Jamala Hall Hill or whatever?
Nah, this dude's name is Phil.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Never mind. That's for a different show. But there's a guy that has like a real Fresh Prince vibe about him, who's making waves in the UFC coming up. But I guess he says this guy's on Contender coming up, and his name's Jamala Hall Hill or some shit, and he's real fun too.
I think I might have heard of him.
Yeah, man. He's got a Ovin St. Preux up next, and that's a fight that can put you on the map. That's a fight that could definitely.
I do know him. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Quiet as kept. I'm terrible with names, so. It'd be hard for me to remember this. It's hard for me to remember the battler name after they just finished. But Philip Rowe is his name. Philip Rowe.
Okay.
He's a welterweight, actually.
So wait, if we're doing the MMA talk, surely you've heard me ask multiple people at this point about this. Is D-Rec the Dana White of MMA back in his day?
Building downtown.